we're live.
How long have we? Okay.
12 seconds.
Okay.
Here we go. Johnny, if you're in here, this is so last minute. Can you hear me okay? I was having major audio issues last time. Can you give me a thumbs up? Bueller? How are you, Cruella?
I'm doing fantastic.
There's a slight echo. Is that just me or can you hear that too?
A slight echo. I don't hear it, but maybe I'm coming in too loud in your ears and it's going in the microphone.
You think by this point,
I always think it's good it's me.
Okay, say something for me.
Sibwats. 1, 2,
all right.
3, 4.
Anybody listening, does it sound okay?
Is there anybody out there?
There's 11 of you. Audio good. Israel Adams. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. How's everyone doing tonight? I just came back from dinner. Chain. What have you been up to?
I just got off work.
How was work?
I've been serving the dinners that you just got back from. Well, I've been making them.
True.
It was good.
True.
Busy.
I love a fancy dinner, y'all. Oh, let's talk. Today is day 27 of Sober Social Club. And I went to Jeff Ruby tonight and had an entire steak dinner with no wine.
That's pretty unbelievable.
I know.
Sushi, steak, no wine.
I really thought about it. I was like, it's been 27 days. I could just do one. But I always order soda water and lime. And they brought me this huge bottle of Pellegrino and put it in a champagne stand. It was funny. It was great.
Next to it, ice.
I took a picture of it.
They still gave you the booze.
Should put it up here on the screen. Let's see if we could be fancy tonight. But yeah, I did my whole this is literally my my death row meal. Did it top to bottom, no booze.
You know what? I've thought about this just in the last 48 hours that I always thought my death row meal would be the fancy like that. But I really do believe my death row meal would either be like a classic hamburger or a classic slice of cheese pizza. Like if I have one last thing to eat, I think I'm going with my not my most luxe meal. I'm going to go with my homiest, most nostalgic.
How do I present the slide? Hold on. Trying to be a little techie tonight.
It's good. Little share screen.
Little share screen. Maybe not. Oh, the file is not supported. Okay.
Then you do this and say, you can go to mymaria777 on Instagram and she will be posting that. Or you can find her on Twitter if you haven't already. And make sure you hit the thumbs up.
Give me some love. Okay. Good evening. How are ya? Everyone says his mic is so quiet. Ay. Let's bring this back up. Is that better? Is it pop
Turn
now?
yourself up.
Can you still hear the pippity pop?
No.
Okay, let's crank it up then. Hopefully that works. Hopefully we shall see. What's going on, Cheney? Tell me something.
What is going on? What is the world these days? Here's the thing that would be, it's the day after Kobe Bryant's anniversary death, right?
Ooh, okay. Interesting. Go on.
I just think that's if you think of the ritual that we went through with the COVID of it all, I just feel like that is the date of the great kickoff. Like that feels like the ritual set. Like that is when it was all blanketed. They Black Mamba in a helicopter. It just seems like whoop. And then if you look into the Kanye West old Nike commercials with him and Kanye West, it's Kobe Bryant and Kanye West, and then who else is in it? There's another like celebrity in the audience, and he's like, "Tell me how I can be better, Kobe Bryant," and it's like Kanye screaming at him. And then they're playing on a basketball court, and it's all the symbology, and there's a helicopter crash on it. That's the commercial.
You know, sometimes I think about the year like the Monopoly board, and so as you come into December. Into January, you're passing go. You're collecting that $200 as like the year turns. And to me, January is that collect $200, but it's not real money. It's like this loosh fest. And I know that there's not another word for it, and I know that that sounds like juvenile and silly, I think, to people at times. Excuse you? But it's a real term, Robert Monroe. It just seems that January is like this, like if you were playing baseball, you would be on deck. You know, it's like this on deck, something huge happens, and all of this emotion is like stirred up.
Do you think already from the jump, we're effed because they have us celebrating our quote unquote new year in Capricorn in January, in the middle of winter, when we should be celebrating it in Aries in spring? So already the like dropping the ball, which you could probably be like BAAL, like dropping this light ball down, or like ascending these balls, whatever they got going on. I feel like they already have us doing a ritual that's against what we should be up to. Like our new year should be when the first sprout happens, whether it's grass or a flower or whatever, a fruit tree. That would be when we really celebrate our new year. It wouldn't be in the dead of January. It's so silly what they got us going on. Everything's so silly. They just got us so backward. Like a Julian calendar, a Gregorian calendar. Yet then we have all these names of like Saturn, Thor, Freya, Zeus. So that we like all of our days are named after pagan gods, but then our calendars are from Roman Caesars. It's like, and then we have 12 months, and we all know octo means 8, but that's in 10, and it's just the whole calendar screwy.
The whole calendar is screwy. How do you? You know, I should repost this because I haven't posted this in a long time, and it might have been on the old account. But there was a guy I found on TikTok, and I bet if you gave me time, I could probably pull it up, and it could maybe be one of those podcasts where I'm playing something for you. But he essentially talks about how in his study of history, and we could have a whole discussion on whether history is real or not, that basically like 200 or 300 years has just like disappeared from the history books. And so like there's that whole argument that people get into about Gregorian calendar and the Ethiopian calendar. And if we were to go by Ethiopian years, like last year was supposedly like 2012 or something like that. Sometime within the last couple years that's happened. But then I see something like what this guy was talking about. And like, who's to say that like any time, like any specific year is like you could create like within 100 years, you know what I mean? You could change the entire trajectory. It would take what, like 3 generations to rewrite history. So that's why I think you can get into an entire like Tartaria discussion on that. You and I could then make analogies to the 100, but like Tartaria happened, and then there's essentially been almost like 3 generations since then. And that's where Rockefeller and the Rothschilds.
Tartaria is just one tiny part of the world, though, of stolen history. Like they're kind of blanketing this thing, like one whole big thing. Here's Tartaria, when it's like that's just one tiny part of one part of the globe's stolen history. And then there's all this other stolen history too. And I know like the Tartarian people that are all into that like to claim mud flood, mud flood, mud flood. Here's one in Boston, and here's one in this, and here's one in that. But Tartaria, if you look it up, if you want, historically is one part of the map, and that's stolen history. Like if you want to talk about ancient antiquitech and that kind of stuff, that gets into a whole nother talk. But I just, in the conspiracy realm, it's like when everything pied off, not that it's like credit, it's just, I just feel like there's this big chunk that just gets labeled Tartaria. Like anything, once it's orphan trains, once it goes to the world fairs, once it goes to Tesla Energy, it's just like Tartaria. And then, but if you are the different person thinking of like plasma apocalypse and you think of the big trees or the pareidolias in the rocks that look like big animals, that is a whole separate thought than Tartaria. And neither, in my head, philosophy wise, they both could be true, but I just think they're so, it's just such different schools of thinking, even that they both seem so out of this world of thinking in that way, like this much stolen history. But I think somewhere around the 1800s, somewhere around those orphan trains, it would be so easy to just kill all the old people, put us all, starve, make us work, uneducate us, and then our kids, you school them. You help us out by being like, you guys got to work, we'll educate your kids.
They'll be the first kids to ever get an education. How many times, I mean, obviously it's true, but I was thinking about that today. Like, if I could do things over, would I go to school the way that I did? And then I was getting like, I had to experience local government today. And of course, like anytime that happens to me, I become like Ron Swanson and I just like fucking like go off. Anyways, but I was like thinking to myself, like, this is so fucking stupid that I have to like get a license just for me to drive. And then I have to go to the county clerk every year and register my vehicle. And then I, was a bougie bitch and got myself a vanity plate for the Bronco, and I paid for it in August. Like I paid a fee to have it made, and then I paid for my registration for the year. So when I came today, I had to like give them my old license plate back, and then they were charging me again, and they were like, well, there's an upcharge because you have a vanity plate. So I was like, I already paid to make this plate, and now every year thereafter, I have to pay a higher registration than anyone else just because I chose to have this. Like somebody's saying no audio.
And they say it's hard to hear you. What in the heck? Ain't nobody got time for this.
Hello? Like I turned everything up as like high as it
What
could
about
be.
on the, let's see, if you
on here too. Like I turned it up in StreamYard.
Let's see.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
What about if I turn my volume down in StreamYard and see if that helps at all? Hello, hello?
Why does this always happen to me? I don't understand. How about now?
Hello, hello?
Red leather, yellow leather. Better. How about now? One person tells me better, the next person says a little better. The next person says nope.
Dum 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 dum.
Mr.
Dun 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 dun.
Da, 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 da.
Oh, I'm echoey. Jerks.
I literally just want to bang my head against the fucking wall. We should just go back to talking on the phone. Okay, It is what it is. You're just gonna have to strain it. Fuck my life. I have all the like most expensive, nice equipment, and none of it ever fucking works.
I'm turning my mic down just a little bit further. All right. In the StreamYard to see.
In the stream.
And I'm even going to try to talk with less bravado.
No, I want you to talk.
I'm going to talk, but we'll try to keep it calm.
Okay, thanks for telling me, y'all. What should we talk about? What were we talking about? Oh, here is where I was. Maybe this is a hot take. Tell me if you agree. I've been this way my entire life. Like the most extreme, like get the government out of my fucking face. I don't believe in any social programs whatsoever. Like it should literally be like bare minimum bullshit. So I'm just so angry in the county clerk's office today, and I go outside and I get in my car and I'm driving and I'm just like, what does this even pay for? Like if I'm thinking to myself, like if politics were real and if elections were real, I should just stand up and be like, the only two things I'm running on are the elimination of this shit and term limits, congressional term limits. I'm just like going off on this. And so I was thinking to myself, like, what does this pay for? What could we eliminate? Like, what would they come back at and say, like, oh, we got to pay for the children's education. That's why we have property taxes. That's why we have this bullshit. And I just thought to myself, not everyone deserves an education. And I know that it's a fucking hot take, but it's just not the government's responsibility. You know, like, there doesn't need to be this, like, there are some people that don't need to go to college, you know, but like so many are sold on this fucking like college bullshit dream. Like if we really like relied on ourselves and like farmers in the true way that we used to, like there would be some kids that would be farmers their whole life. Like they wouldn't, not just like people might hear me say that and think like, oh my God, nobody's ever going to get an education. Like, no, there would be schools, but you would choose to send your kid to a school and you wouldn't be paying your ass out in taxes. So you would have the money to do that. Do you know what I'm saying?
The Queen of England didn't have a normal education. She learned how to be the queen. So I feel like, what if you just went to school to be a mechanic? Or if you were like, I'm going to be a lawyer, there might be a setup of classes that would start in the 10th grade that would help you be ready for that better if that's what you really wanted to do. I feel like I do hear an echo of me too. Where is it coming from?
You've been really your video has been splotchy. Should I take you out and come back in?
I can leave and come back.
Like it just dragged right there.
It might just be me. Sometimes I've had people on shows be like, are you frozen? And I'm like, no, I just haven't blinked.
No, it's not that.
All right. StreamYard is not your fan.
I think this is it. I think we got to cancel StreamYard.
StreamYard is not a friend of yours, but okay.
Copacetic.
I'll be right back.
I'm tired of the bullshit narrative of the government being like, we need property taxes. You need to file a form and pay $100 once a year just to let me know like what the fuck you're driving. It's just such a loop. And like the whole notion of like public education, I don't know. It's the same low sound. Somebody else said StreamYard was an inside job. Should I bump back over to Zoom? We would have to end this broadcast. Will you guys still pick it back up? Still pick it back up? Tell me if you want to jump ship. If it's worth pursuing. Anyways, We all just need to stop paying and fuck them. Yes, Brandon Harsh. Ain't that the motherfucking truth? Okay. I think perhaps they're telling me we should do a new
A new
Zoom.
fresh stream
Mhm.
on the Zoom.
Then somebody else said it's not that bad. I need a consensus, people. Ay ay ay. Okay, give me a little talksy. Let's see how you do.
Hello, hello. Do you want me to sing something?
Nah, just
um,
what's
s- Lanolin.
lanolin? Okay, let's move on.
All right.
Anyways, I don't think everyone deserves an education. Is what it boils
Back
down to.
to
I just don't think the government needs to be responsible for all the things that it's responsible for. I think the private sector would take care of itself in whatever form or fashion that is.
I think the government's involved in everything, too much of everything. I don't need them involved in the plate on my car. I don't need them to worry about how old I am to drive. I don't understand how they're all up like a 16-year-old, 17-year-old. You have to take classes for days, but your hand-eye coordination's off the charts. But an 88-year-old still out here just running into things and it's fine. She can drive down the highway going 20 miles an hour, which I think going under the speed limit that far is far more dangerous than going over the speed limit because you just come up on someone and there's no brake lights. It's just, you're like, holy shit, who's driving 20 and a 60? Oh, an 88-year-old that shouldn't have their driver's license. So
Truth.
I don't know. I just think where the state should meddle, they never do. They're like where they're just involved into, they're just doing a lot. And who are they?
They're doing a lot, but they're doing a little at the same time. If that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah, they're just like, think of just, and then that's not even the insurance for your car. And I saw somebody else in chat, they were like, I have to register my dog. And I'm
You have
like,
to get a
you,
license to go fishing.
that's
Like,
what we were.
isn't that
Like it for the pot, the gun, the kid, the dog, the fishing pole, the driver's license, the jet ski, the like pick your the camping permit, the it's like how fucking dare you? How
how
dare you?
fucking dare you? Who the fuck do you think you are? That's the slogan I want to run on.
Like just and we need this whole new branch of government now and now there's this new person that needed to be voted in or not voted in because there's a whole ton of government people that seem to have more power than the voted in people that they no one votes them in. They just got the job. It's like who
You know,
knows
it's
what's
like
going
it's
on.
all about like the agency, the fourth unelected branch of the government for me that's subject to like no checks and balances. Like that's why like oh my gosh, there's this like whole Lucy bullshit, classified documents here, classified documents there. And to me, this is just like the Russian collusion investigation all over again. And the House is going to appoint a special counsel. And the special counsel is now going to investigate Trump and Biden and Pence because, of course, fucking one of the Pence clones had to like throw something in the ring to like deflect what's going on here in some way. But if you know the old Pence clone thing, then you know my niche reference here. Anyways, I guess I really shouldn't explain niche references. That would be defeating the purpose of the reference. Anyways, the like Russian collusion investigation I think cost somewhere in the 40 of millions of dollars and nothing came out of it other than Trump did not collude with the Russians. So I just find this to be another clash of conflict and they're going to appoint a special counsel and nothing will come of it.
What about the tanks? Like that has to, don't you find it ridiculous that it's like here's a press conference and here's Biden and like Kamala and they have to come out and be like we're going to send 31 tanks to Ukraine. Like, this is the thing we're doing to add to Germany's 2 tanks that they're going to send and to add to this country's. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about Ukraine.
But like, let's talk about
I
that
don't care.
logistically.
And people are like, oh my gosh, that's so heartless. Like, there aren't other things in the world. There's heartless things going on everywhere. I'm overspending my money, my tax money. I'm overgiving it. Like, the IRS is just one bullshit organization that I have to throw my money at. But it's like, there's no say so. I don't get a receipt. Can I have some itemization here? This doesn't work anywhere else in life. If I even try to claim, like, I'm going to claim 1/8 of my house for my business, they're like, we need some itemization. How many miles are you claiming? We need to know how much are you driving in your car? How much are you going to try to claim here? They need a whole entire list. You have to sit there like you're Fred Flintstone from the, like, just chucking out papers, like rolls of papers to show the IRS to claim $10. But we don't ever get itemized.
How
If
do you
people
think they get it? Oh, I'm sorry.
if people knew how much money they paid for wars they weren't alive for, they would be incensed. Like, most of the money you're paying out is for wars you weren't even born for. It's ridiculous.
How do you think logistically a tank gets to the Ukraine?
SpaceX.
Weather balloons. Is it like
A
do
payload.
they have like huge planes that can carry 31 of those
Yeah.
at one time, or would
Not
they ship it?
31.
Because
They
if they
could
ship it, it would take weeks. So are they announcing that we've already, like, is the ship arriving, or is the ship about to leave? So it's like, hey, we just sent you 31 tanks. You'll see them in about 30 days.
Hey, Russia, just so you know, there'll be 31 tanks
Or
coming
is
into
this
Ukraine.
more like a War Dogs situation, like that movie with Miles Teller and what's his face, the fat guy that turned skinny? I know him, Jonah Hill. Is this like that situation where they're like wheeling and dealing online with like arms dealers and shit? So like, did the Biden administration be like, all right, we found like 31 off the book, former tanks of ours that got sold to a country by the Clintons that then happened to here and it happened here. So we're going to reacquire these and now give them to the Ukraine. I don't know.
Yeah, like, we have 6 to pick up in Saudi Arabia, 2 tanks in Somalia, 1 over in Syria. Like, we're going to get these tanks together.
That's
And
what I
ship.
wonder.
Or do you just drive a tank? Like, there are places and you just have to be like, gotta get this tank where it needs to go.
I need 31 motherfuckers that want to drive a tank to the Ukraine. I don't know. I've been watching a lot of Homeland, and Quinn just died, and he went to Syria, trying to, like, just not good stuff. I would want to drive. I saw this on TikTok the other day. Some kid said he rode his bike from, I don't know, somewhere way up, like all the way through down in, like, into Alaska, Canada, the United States, all the way down into South America,
Like the whole
down
trek.
in Patagonia.
I know a couple of kids that have made some pretty heroic bike treks. Like, I think Alaska to Mexico. I know a kid that did the PCH, like, or, that whole chunk, and then did the California PCH down, maybe like to Tijuana.
Ooh, Tijuana. If you
I
could
don't
go
know.
anywhere tomorrow for a week, all expenses paid, where would it be? And if you're listening live, tell me in the chat, where would you go?
All expensive paid for a week.
Yeah, with me. That's the
Oh,
yeah.
I want to go to Italy. I want to
Italia.
go to like Vicenza or Venice, Italy. I don't want to. Like the whole. I can't go to, like, I only can stay in one part at a time. I don't. When people are like, okay, we'll see this, 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 this. No, I'm too big of a nerd. I'm too big of a history nerd. Like, I need to stay in this part, and then I'll go into another place.
We should
But
go
I
to
like the
Modena.
food.
Did you ever watch the Aziz Ansari, the second season of his show? It was set in Italy, and he was like going to cooking school. That was in Modena. I really want to go there.
He's hard for me to watch.
Ooh, why is that?
I just don't find him enjoyable as a person.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Some people are just not, but I think he's funny. But some people I like their stand up, but I don't necessarily like them acting.
I got you. I got you. A
Like
dream
Cheeto
of
Santino.
mine. I wish I could go to Italy and go to cooking school for like 6 months. Immersive language training and then like podcast on the side. What a life that would be.
Yeah. Italy would be a cool place to cook.
If you
I
would like to be
think
my sugar daddy and fund that experience, please slide into my DMs. Thank you.
Italian sugar daddy. You probably have Italian audience members. You probably have people in Italy that listen.
Yeah, come va? I need to work on my Italiano. I
And
took
there's
for a couple of years.
there's some, American military bases
I know.
in Italy.
When I was married, my ex-husband, we were trying to get stationed in Italy.
I have a
Dun
friend
dun
in Antarctica
dun.
right now. Somebody in the chat wrote they'd go to Antarctica for a week. And I have a friend in Antarctica right now, doing like tours and expedition stuff. And my favorite thing that she said to me was, uh, Cheney, I'm down here, I'm stationed here for 3 months. And there isn't anything that I have to tell you to sway you away from any of the ways that you think, because I'm only allowed to go to this area. So
Okay,
she's like, to go deeper, she has to get a different contract.
I find this to be really interesting. In all of our discussions that we've had about Antarctica in the recent years and talking about Admiral Byrd and like what could be beyond the ice wall, I did not know until, let's say, sometime in the last maybe like 60 to 90 days that, and I learned this from TikTok naturally, of course, that to go physically to Antarctica, you get on a ship and you have to go through something called the Drake Passage. And the Drake Passage takes, I don't know, like at least it seems like a week or two, I feel like. And it's crazy weather, like crazy, huge waves. Like they show a video of like personal testimony, and like the ship is literally going back and forth like this. And the people are like, oh, it's about to be like this for 10 days. And so, first off, never heard of the Drake Passage until recently. Two, in like the whole idea of like, let's not even consider if the earth is flat or whatever. Like, if the idea of like there is an ice wall and there are worlds beyond that, and you have to go through a shaky, like, water portal, it sounds like. Like, doesn't that sound like a wormhole almost? You know what I mean?
It's I live by the Sebastian Inlet. So it is where the Indian River is like this one of a kind estuary in the world. Like nothing else is like it. And then there's a barrier island, and then the ocean's on the other side. And there's a couple of spots to get out into the ocean from the river that, especially at the Sebastian Inlet, you can't just be like, I'm going to rent a boat and take it to the ocean and make it past that. No, you're not gonna. It's like something that you got to be a person that you catch the waves right. And then, like, I won't do it. I'll let my brother do it. You have to catch the waves right, and then you have to gun it. It's like a whole different kind of thing. And I even know guys here during hurricanes, you make a decision like, you can tie your boat down, you can hope for the best, but the only way that you can kind of guarantee that your boat's going to make it through the hurricane is if you get on your boat and you ride out the storm. And that is but I know a lot of guys that do it, and it's always crazy to me. Like I'm always so worried about them, like riding out a hurricane, but that's the only way you can you have to pay attention and be awake the whole time with the waves. Like that's what a good captain is. So different.
Isn't I
I
just
don't
it
know.
gives me such Lost vibes. Like, do you remember when the freighter comes to the island and like Faraday comes to the island for the first time, And Faraday's like, you have to go on this very precise mark. Like, this
Mm-hmm.
degree is what you have to fly by. And if you don't, like, you can't enter and exit the island. I just like think about shit like that. Like, you're going through a rough sea 10-day passage. Like, is there a specific entrance, like a specific bearing that you have to be at to actually enter Antarctica?
Even the Antarctica. And we've always learned about it, the seventh continent. Like it's one of our earliest parts of our education. Like right there where they like feed you, like that kindergarten, first grade, where they give you all the biggest bullshit. Like here's the food pyramid, and here's you know,
Time.
yeah, here's your alphabet, and here's this is like they're
Indoctrination
the
101.
colors, like the whole entire like where the setup. So and it's you learn about these oceans and these lands, and it's just insane. Like it's even insane what it looks like from the map. Like we are in space and they show this globe. This here's this MGM grand globe, like Universal Studios globe, and it's just a whited out like just white, and they won't show us anything on it. And anytime people are like, that looks like a pyramid, or maybe they dug something below the ice, they're like, psh, 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 pish off, pish off, pish off. Nothing going on.
You know, I saw a picture, kind of what you're talking about right now, are just these like certain themes, theories, pictures, ideas that were presented to us during a period of time in which, excuse me, obviously the internet didn't exist like it did. Like, there wasn't this like mass communication on this like quantum level. And you couldn't even fathom the idea of a clone or CGI or a deep fake or any of the crazy like masks and prosthetics that exist in this day and time. And so I saw this side by side of Michael Jackson the other day. And in our entire discussion that we have on clones and templates and whether or not you could just 3D print like a meat suit at this point and like upload consciousness, like what, like we can take Biden and we break him down in like all these different like layers of the psyop and all these different hypotheticals all the time about what he could be, what he couldn't be, just like body doubles the works. And I looked at like the black version of Michael Jackson and the white version of Michael Jackson, and it didn't even occur to us back then that this could be two different people, you know?
I just the phases of Michael Jackson, like looking at the two polars, the two poles that you put up of him. The first picture, and he's so gorgeous. He already has mild plastic surgery starting in that picture from the OG him. If you go back and look at the timeline, and then the picture, the final picture that you put, that's not even the last motherfucking Michael
Right,
Jackson
his
that we
nose breaks
saw.
down into like barely nothing thereafter.
And so all the phases, if you take like the, it's like those aren't even the furthest two poles of the man. And then there's so many things in between. There's so many Michael Jacksons in between those Michael Jacksons. Thriller Michael Jackson's a different Michael Jackson's, and off the wall Michael Jackson, then bad Michael
Even like
Jackson, then
Lisa
black and white
Marie
Michael
Michael
Jackson.
Jackson, you know what I mean? And so
That picture you put was the closest to naked Michael Jackson in the Lisa Marie video.
I just think what an interesting like let's evaluate things right now in the idea that like everything is a basically like a they're socially experimenting on us at all the times, and like what level of deception can we present and get away with? Like, I don't know, it just seems like such training to us to like let's present a different person. Let's say it's all like we literally took a black man and bleached him into a white man, and nobody ever questioned it. You know what I mean? It was just like, look at this version, accept it.
I don't
I
know.
don't
I'm
know.
such a Michael Jackson freak, and I just like he was framed so hard, everything about him, like even down to the amount of Sony he would have owned when he left. It was more valuable than any Twin Towers. It was more valuable than 10 Britney Spears. It was more valuable than the Beatles because he owned the Beatles. He owned Elvis. Like the biggest pop stars you can think of, Michael owned their masters. And even that word, masters. So a muse, musings, music. This is all real stuff. So if we talk about rituals that they're doing and spells and the music that sets our life, the playlist that's there, the stuff we can learn from it, the way it's used in MK Ultra and Fear Tactics and like the voice of God from Isaac Cappy, all the way to them taking Bob Marley songs and putting them in apocalyptic movies right before 2020 happened. It was like all part of the Kobe ritual. So I feel like Michael was such a key, huge, powerful motherfucker. No one was allowed to become that powerful. No one was allowed to own Hollywood the way Michael could own Hollywood. A black man wasn't supposed to make Oz. Like some of the things that he did were just next level. And so this is it. That last tour, he was about to walk away owning all of that. That was it. And so they murdered him and they set it up with this doctor and everything. But it's almost such a murder that it's a fake death murder. It's such a weird whole story. So they totally destroy him and call him a pedophile and all these things. And the two guys that accuse him are two guys that actually stood on court for him. And those are two whole different stories. But all of it is set up and fake. And then they buy pennies on the dollar. His kids walk away $650 million for everything that Michael Jackson owned. Like it's so absurd, the number that those kids, and he was murdered. He was murdered, or he's alive. But he was the probably most valuable man on the planet. And that is so crazy to think about. Like he was supposed to fly 9/11. Like he has all the connections. So I just think there's some, if you want to disparage somebody, Michael's the perfect dude. But also, if you create a million versions of yourself and you wear a mask all the time, then you can really hide. That's the only way. That's the only way you can really hide. So I have this theory that certain people, I call it 2 items. Everyone only needs 2 items to disappear until you become a character of yourself. So like me, I could have this hair and these glasses. And eventually 10 people could play me. And so it's any 2 items to make a character. Elvis, sideburns, those glasses. Once you become a character of yourself and everybody starts knowing this is what Cheney looks like, this is what Cheney looks like, this is what Cheney looks like. Cheney with a long curly wig disappears in a crowd because you guys only know me one way. So Michael Jackson becomes a character of himself. That's the easiest way to disappear. Is everybody thinks you look like this. Freak show. Wouldn't that be so much kind of more clever that you slowly make a mask you wear in public? So he's walking around a black man right now and no one knows.
Yeah, what a life that would be.
It's Mission Impossible. We're always thinking so far. 10,000 clones or just some CGI and a good Mission Impossible mask that have been around since the 60s. You're telling me those aren't better now? Like we don't have to.
This is the Dave of it all. Who's that? I don't know that.
There's a dude that like he's a burn victim, and he did an interview with Larry King, and people say it's Michael Jackson, like dressed in another disguise, in an interview after his death, giving to Larry King. Like some people think it's him.
Wouldn't that be like the ultimate game to play then thereafter? Like if you successfully became the biggest musician of all time, removed yourself from the conversation, was there by yourself, like wouldn't you attempt to kind of like just like fuck with the narrative, like something like that?
He's one of the, when people like really mock around with who could, like back in the old like 2018 days, who could really pull off being Q? Michael Jackson. He was so intelligent, master chess player. Chess player is a key thing that has to happen. There's the game theory of chess is next level, and people that know how to play chess of a certain scale. There isn't anyone that you can talk about in the zeitgeist, even right now. Britney Spears, how important is Britney Spears in the zeitgeist right now? All attachments to Michael Jackson. Donald Trump, How important is Donald Trump right now in the zeitgeist? All attachments to Michael Jackson. Like when you look up all these key people, Michael Jackson had attachments to all of them, all the divas, all the things. When you can look up interviews, you put in the celebrity that actually hung out with Michael Jackson, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, he was magic. Or he would call me when I was crying and he would just console me. Like Mariah Carey when she was married to Tommy Mottola and he was an abusive fuck. She confided in Michael Jackson.
You see,
It's like,
I love the Kathy Hilton connection.
tell me.
They were best friends.
What?
Sorry, I took an edible. You didn't know this about Kathy
No.
Hilton and Michael Jackson?
No,
That's
you always teach me new stuff about Kathy Hilton.
I'm about to blow your mind.
I
They
love
made
it.
a pact to name their firstborns Paris.
I did not know this, but I always thought like, how interesting that he went with Paris.
Right. I think they became friends. Maybe they were both living in the Hilton at the time. I don't know, but they were like very, very, very good friends. She talks about him on Real Housewives.
I love this. And I believe it. He was really close with certain few people, and everybody that kind of knew him said he kept them safe. And you look at the male celebrities that actually don't have anything to gain, like Corey Feldman didn't come out and out Michael Jackson. Macaulay Culkin didn't come out and out Michael Jackson. And not that everything's not a big, huge church of Hollywood, but I just think there it was so nefarious behind his death that it would be worth it to him to kill himself, or at least fake his own death.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot more celebrities fake their own death. Everybody remember the Elvis sightings after Elvis died?
Dude, I lived in Memphis.
Like just that alone. Like it was right with UFOs. It was like, here's aliens and Elvis sightings.
There's like whole weekends, like on his birthday, on his day of death, just a random night on Beale Street, there would be Elvis impersonators everywhere. I have to post some pictures of it. I've got some. It was my favorite. I fucking loved Memphis. I was actually talking about Memphis today. I don't know if you've heard about this. They released the video tonight, and I am not watching the video because I'm in this place where I don't like to consume violence anymore. Like if I'm watching.
Are you talking about Paul Pelosi's hammer attack?
No.
I'm just kidding. Go on. I wasn't trying to make light. Go on.
5, and I'm going to talk about race because they're making it about race, and if it were different colors, it would be a different discussion too. But 5 black police officers killed a black man in Memphis.
I've heard a little bit about this.
And they beat him to death.
Yeah.
And the story goes, this is what one of my followers sent me. Hold on. Somebody said, I actually graduated from Memphis with one of the officers that was involved. Rumors that the decedent, the one who died, was messing with one of the officers' women, and they ambushed him on his way home. They were part of the Scorpion, an organized crime unit, and they were all in plain clothes. So the video, like, I don't know why there's a video of it, but there is a video, and it was getting released tonight at 6 o'clock. And Antifa came out and said that they would burn the streets of New York in response. And then locally, they were talking about there being riots in both Nashville and Memphis. I haven't really seen anything. At the same time, you are correct that Paul Pelosi's video was released today as well. Or maybe it was yesterday. So, what's the reason for, like, what are we distracting from?
Yeah, the 5 police officers beating the dude was pretty horrific. And everything I heard about it is they were part of a special unit, like you were saying, the Scorpion unit, where their whole job was just to look at people's plates and look at people's things and just do this extra level, like research on people that weren't necessarily doing anything to see if they could then get them on something. It wasn't even like, pulling you over because you're going 70 in a school zone. It was like they were looking, we're looking at every tag and looking at everything
They're
and
profiling, essentially.
totally profiling. And so it's kind of crazy. Um, whatever happened to this dude, but it seems like I don't know if it's real. It's like how much stuff is real stuff, but I saw his mom talk, but it's all, everything right in my head at first. And it's horrible that it's this way, but it's just so many times that it is. Everything's like Sandy Hook at first,
Right.
where I'm just watching it.
Well,
Like,
I mean,
why is
it's good to
CNN
have the
just
level
talking
of
about this?
discernment of everything, to evaluate everything with a kind of, not necessarily a wandering eye, but just say, what is like, if this is real, it could very much be real. What, it could still be a distraction despite it being real. Like, a psyop does not denote something being fake. It's just a psychological operation. Look over here while I'm doing something on the other side.
I just what the fuck with the I just feel I don't know. I just a part of it it's like they like want to amp up a police state so we want privatized police. It's like they want so badly for us to like it's like I don't know what they're trying to get at here. It's just they keep turning up two sides of things and it's just like
I think they're turning up. Well, I'm always going to go back, even though I don't believe in the election and I think it's all theater. The loop, they have to keep the theater going, even though it's fakery. So we're going into primary season. And in primary season, the candidates will become very, very polarizing on the most extreme parts of their party in order to acquire the base to get selected as the nominee. And then when you like actually go towards the presidential part of the election, they become much more moderate to catch more votes. So now, as the architect, as the writer of the plot, as the puppet master of what's going on, it would make sense that you would really want to dial up key major conflict issues in which there are never a solution to the problem, but always an ongoing problem, like the Second Amendment, like student loan forgiveness, like the decriminalization of marijuana on the federal level. So, Second Amendment can also be, I think, the whole police, whether or not they're a vital component. Like, it's just part of that to me. Like, let's turn up the crime discussion and then let's turn up the discussion on police brutality. Those are just big, major polarizing topics for presidential election time.
I don't know. I just think everywhere they're like, we're gonna do this to this place. Like, you ain't gonna do that here. Like every time they're like, we're gonna do this to New York. I'm like, because New Yorkers will fucking let you.
Right.
They'll let you over and over again. Like, okay. Like, good on New York for letting their streets get burnt to the ground. At this point, that's Ukraine to me. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what to say
But you
about
know,
it.
it's also isolated. For example, last weekend, I was on TikTok and I was seeing videos of Atlanta, and like it was saying Atlanta's on fire and like the downtown is overrun, and like it was going on and on about it. And then when I went to read the comments, there were so many people from Atlanta that were commenting, and they were like, for this to be such an issue, like I'm literally hearing about it 2 days later on TikTok. Like, is a lot of people were like, is this the first time you're learning about this? Like, I had no idea this was going on. Kind of like that Portland, I think, was it Portland back in the day? Like, that there were all those issues with like them standing outside and living outside, but it was really only contained to like a couple blocks, and otherwise like life was just going on.
Like normal.
Right.
It's just fear, fear, fear. This is what's going on. Where that little couple of blocks could all be actors.
Right.
Like it's all CIA
Exactly.
actors just pulling off like the Hall of Presidents. That's what I feel like every so much stuff is Hall of Presidents. Like people only have a certain amount of script and then they have to go back. Pirates of the Caribbean. Like they only have a certain the pirate only bends to here, it takes a drink of its thing and then the next boat goes by and then it does the same thing again. That's just I feel like so much of that shit is just the script, and then the news knows when to film, and then they have their footage, and then they go on their little news sites. I know shit's almost not real if CNN's covering it. Like, I almost know it's not real. I don't ever even turn into Fox, just because I feel like I fell off of that part of my conspiracy brain where I was like, oh, Rupert Murdoch. Like, that was already so fake so long ago. And CNN's so fake. Like, it's like watching the absurd. And then, like, I don't even know what's happened. But it's like once they're talking about them, I'm like, this isn't real.
I was at my mom's house like a month or two ago and getting ready to go somewhere, and she had like a Good Morning America type thing on, and there was literally so much propaganda in literally this 15-minute like propaganda about something stupid, like talking about NASA, talking about all these different. I was like, you've got to stop watching this, even though I know you're just listening to have like something on. This is such bullshit. To me, it's interesting though that like I'm here, I'm talking shit, like I'm asking questions, like this should never be taken that seriously, and we can like
But more seriously than all them shows.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, I said that Project Veritas looked fucking fake yesterday because it did look fucking fake yesterday, and everybody got their panties in a twist. And like, we should be able to have that discussion without you calling me a fucking schizophrenic like psychopath. Somebody was like, I really think you have schizophrenia now. You guys, this is the most theatrical, like, sensational bullshit I have ever seen. I'm the schizophrenic. Okay.
First of all, we we have the discussion of people not looking like themselves or clones or whatever. I can't even believe that's the same James O'Keefe. I'm like, is that James O'Keefe's dad? Like, who's that guy that just walked into it, first of all? But I also think, like, to just think if there's levels of like an evil day or a shadow government or they're not just like hanging out up here. That's what they want you to think. They're involved in all your real lives. They're involved in all your things. They're handling things on levels that you wouldn't understand. They're filtering. I remember when the whole conspiracy movement felt good about Dan Crenshaw or Tulsi Gabbard or Bernie Sanders or I remember when everybody had these moments of, oh, this could be a fucking dude. This could be the dude. So I'm just like, there's layers that you have to keep your tools of discernment on with anything. And so to me, with James O'Keefe, it's like, we're going to release a video tomorrow. You guys, it's going to fucking knock your socks off. Wait until you get this severe. It's going to blah, 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 blah. And then it's like some crony volunteer of a Bernie Sanders campaign that says the word gulag, and who gives a fuck? Like, it's just these little things that I'm just like, I don't know. It's like the news when they're like, there's something in the milk that can kill your baby. We're going to tell you at 11. Like, hey, if it can really kill my baby, tell me right this second. Put a banner at the bottom of the screen. Emergency, during my Friends episode, emergency, we found something in milk that can kill your baby.
Okay, let's talk about a psyop. Fucking COVID is this huge psyop. The vaccine is this huge psyop. What is the point of a psyop for me? Is to be so polarizing again, back to this two-party system, back to this perpetuation of conflict, and going into primary season now, going into this presidential election season now, even though I think all of it's bullshit. Please let me reiterate that. This is all fakery upon fucking fakery upon fucking fakery. But one of those huge topics that we're now going to argue about for years and decades to come is this vaccine. And by very nature, they are now polarizing us on it, on the muggles and the fucking purebloods, the vaxxers and the non-vaxxers. And so what does something like Project Veritas do for me? Nothing, because I don't find that it effectuates any actual change. But you can come on out here with your big fucking microphone and jump up and down and like scream at this person and play this kind of like Chris Hansen like gotcha moment for your likes and your views on your reel. But like, what does that do but like continue this polarization, continue this like, oh my god, we're the unvaxxers and we're right. Like, Like, what did you learn from that video that you didn't already learn? Okay? Allegedly, that Pfizer, the company, is making mutations of um, viruses that then they're going to make vaccines for, and they're going to continue to do the very thing that they've always been doing. You didn't teach me anything I didn't know. And if anything, I find all of this to be propaganda on a whole other overarching level about fucking germ theory. So,
I
yes,
kind of agree.
Project Veritas, I think you're fucking fake. I think it's sensational bullshit. And I think everyone who commented on my post and told me that I was the asshole should go fucking look in the mirror.
Well, I get all this bullshit because of how much I hate Joe Rogan. And everyone's like, Cheney, Joe Rogan's the one that said something about ivermectin. And I'm like perpetuating the idea that you need something else for a common fucking cold and flu season. All the meanwhile, he is the number one person that's on air every day, letting you know that him and his guests both got the PCR test. When I would say if they were ever spreading anything to you at all, it was through those tests. And that's why you incubated it with your little silly mask. And so I don't care. Like, if it also gives the idea and this illusion of hero to the people that didn't get this one needle. Like, there is certain few people out there that are vax free since 2005. There's certain fewer that's been vax free since 95. There's certain fewer that have never had a needle. So it's like the idea I keep saying over and over again that this mRNA, and no, all of them, the polio, the shingles, the chicken pox, the everyone. There's so many autoimmune disorders from lupus to Lyme to that people don't even know that are going on that I would say are all vax injury, but people don't even want to think about it. Their mental health, they're getting sprayed from fucking shit. They have no idea what they already shoved into themselves. Even when you're going to get a tetanus shot, you're getting tetanus, pertussis, blah, 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 blah. Your kid's getting K in its eyes. Your kid's getting a hepatitis B shot right out of the womb. Like, who gives a shit just about this one? You need to look into all this, but people always want to be like, I'm not anti all vax. I'm just anti this. No, you need to readjust and re-educate yourself and stop thinking that you're just on a high horse from this one tiny little needle. There's so much other shit. Look what they're spraying in your food. You don't even know half the chemicals that are listed on the back of it. Here's some candy. Like, we think just the Teflon. Oh, this is BPA free plastic. There's 30 chemicals you don't even know the name of yet.
It's just like one of your water bottles.
I don't know. I just feel like they've been doing this shit to us for so long. They would love the Lee Harvey Oswald of all the bad shit, all the people dropping dead of heart attacks, all the quick growing cancers, all the weird mental health impairments. They would love nothing more than to wrap it up in one little bubble of this one little vaccine that they pushed out just because, you guys, it was a plague, and they're all going to sit for war crimes, and their company will separate into two separate companies, and the side that'll go bankrupt, that'll never pay out anyone, and the other one will become the new vaccine. And you guys will be like, well, this one doesn't have mRNA. I'm gonna
no synthetic mRNA. It's okay then. Nah, dog.
No, the aborted fetal cells in a animal DNA, not cool either. The heavy metals, not cool either.
I don't know. James O'Keefe just saying it for me.
But
he just blocked me, that little motherfucker.
Oh,
Schwell.
And yeah.
Oh, Schwell.
Veritas. But that's just one. It's just like there's these, like, I think people, they want a feel good person that they think is on their side. Like, even like the Alex Jones of it all. But then there's always like a fine filter that person won't go into. And that person will only tell you the real. Like, that's where I'm like, he gets super drunk and super high. And then he's like, interdimensional space demons want to eat your babies. And I'm like, that's probably the realest thing Alex Jones ever said. But he did it under the guise of had to smoke pot first, had to drink first. That's why they go on the show and make this big, huge deal about Elon Musk is smoking pot with Joe Rogan, and then he's all going to say all this crazy shit about AI taking over the world.
I was just high.
Yeah, sorry, I was just high.
Really strong weed.
But it's like, nope, that's the truth.
Did you see? Okay, first off, we're in this like egg overpriced situation going on. You know, the eggs are tripling, quadrupling, 5 times the
I feel
price.
so triggered tonight.
Me?
No, I feel so triggered. Right when you said eggs, I'm like, I just feel like, here, God damn it.
But then did you see how somebody came out and was like, one of the reasons that people are having heart attacks is because of them eggs.
I can't. Because the eggs are just because they already killed the chickens last month because they do these things like, oh, we found bird flu in your area. You're going to have to kill all these hundreds of thousands of chickens. Don't worry, the insurance of your chickens will pay off. So make sure you keep the bodies there so we can come and count it all up and make it real horrific, for the loosh factor. And all those chickens now, there's no eggs. And now, because no eggs, there's not going to be bread and cookies and all these other things that are in the middle of your grocery store because those all need eggs. So it's just like ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, this is like a ritual with the eggs, it feels like,
And people, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
They came at the same time. It's a fucking simulation.
Do you think it's like an Abraxas thing? They like an
What's that?
Abraxas god. Abraxas is the chicken god that has like tentacles as its legs. They use the symbolism a lot. Let me see. Maybe I can share a screen.
A lot. What are all 59 of you thinking right now? Give me like the most random word that comes to mind. We need to put some new things on the timeline.
Timeline
game of the week.
How do we get this shit to pop up?
Who we talk shit about right now? Oh. You know how how do I say this? I'm not trying to put bad juju out in the world. I'll tell you after.
Okay. That's probably for the best. You never do that.
No, basically like my sister's boss, her like business partner.
Can you see this?
She died.
Oh. Am I sharing screen with you right now? And I'm sorry to. So this is Abraxas, the chicken god. And this is the picture that's in like
Oh no, we lost Project Cheney for the moment. Okay, you know what? I'll just be vulnerable and tell y'all all the shit. But my sister and I no longer have a relationship. But right before I got on here, her business partner, they live out in California, but they're both from East Tennessee, and was kind of like her mentor. But they're both liberal as fuck and vaxxed up the ass. And her boss, what happened? Hold on. Had a stroke. And then had a MRI and was declared brain dead, and she died. And she was young, like in her 40s. I don't know. Bad news bears. Well, it seems as though we've lost Cheney for the time being, so it's just me, baby. It's Friday night and I'm alive. Oh, that's from Girls, but she says it's like Wednesday night and I'm alive. Anyways, Brandon said something about electricity. The whole germ theory narrative, and there's this one video that I share from time to time that talks about how a great deal of like the viruses and like not like the huge virus times that have happened in the world have coincided with like times of like electric things going on as well. I'm not explaining this very well, but basically that like the invention of certain parts of like electricity and the advancements in electricity coincide with times in which there have been great illness that has been blamed on virus, and what if, perhaps if there was a connection in which like that was like if the body is electric, then that virus, that illness is attached to this like change in frequency, change in electromagnetism, change in electricity, rather than any sort of germ or virus. Very interesting things. Oh, Cheney is back. Hello, hello.
I don't even know what happened, but I decided, okay, I'm not going to share Abraxas.
Okie dokie.
My whole computer just turned off, and I'm like, what?
Take
Like,
that as
for
a
no reason.
sign.
Yeah,
Tyler said
maybe
no,
another day.
ma'am.
Maybe another day.
Maybe another day. Well, let's just talk a little bit longer, and then we'll wrap it up anyways.
Okay.
Rip it, wrap it. all
Rip
the way
it,
up.
wrap it.
Rip it. Oh, rack ball. It's an old YouTube reference. Rack 'em. Rack ball. I just want somebody who understands all of my niche references and loves me for them. You know?
Probably people in the audience know what that is.
It's
Somebody's
old,
got to.
Old YouTube video of this homeless guy that these like University of Georgia guys interviewed, and he was just like high on fucking heroin, and he kept going, "Rack 'em, rack ball." If you know, you know. If you were on YouTube, like, when would that be? Shit, 2006 ish. How long ago was that? 17 years.
I'm still a YouTuber now.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I
feel like it's the channel I watch the most. I know we don't all love it, but the amount of content I can find on there, I like being able to set my queue so I can just have my videos play.
I gotta respond to this. Tommy Claypool said that my edible is hitting. No, sir, this is me all the time. I'm just I interrupted Janie twice yesterday to sing while she was talking. Just me, swear to God. My edible is hitting, but it's just me being myself. I won't do it anymore. Goodbye.
I need more edibles in my life. I used to make myself edibles all the time, salted caramel.
These are again from one of our followers at the Nice Hemp Company. I had a tart cherry that had 6 milligrams of CBD and 6 milligrams of THC.
That would be a good company for you.
No, my new company that I want to open up, I was inspired by your wife yesterday, the story you were telling me about her. But Amazon sells like gelatin pills that like you can make your own pills. And I've heard about people. I used to microdose and I really need to get back into it. But my source dried up a little bit and I just haven't wanted to spend any money. But you were telling me about buying mushrooms, making your own mushroom mixture, and then making your own pills. And on Amazon, they have literal red pills that you can stuff yourself. And I just thought to myself, what a fucking company would that be to have your mushroom microdosing in actual red pills?
Yeah, my wifey went
Trademark,
out of town.
copyright. If you fucking do it, I'll sue you.
She went out of town and she made herself, I don't even know what she put in there, you guys. Like, it's all food grade, blah, blah, blah. And it's some kind of herb mixture that she also did with the mushrooms. And she mixed it all in and put it in little red pills and then put it in her little vitamins and took it right out of town with her. And so, yeah, she loved it and said it was perfect. And it was a nice way to take the mushrooms in a little pill form. So,
like a little red plastic container with red pills in them. Chef's kiss.
yeah.
I just need a venture capitalist boyfriend, you know, that wants to support all these crazy ideas because one day they would just all pan out.
And I think the actual microdose would probably be like 3 pills, would be like a microdose of it. And that seems so nice. Like, just pop little 3 pills. You get a little nice mushy.
Well, if you were microdosing, you would be taking one of those a day. But if you were taking like a microdose, I just want to like say for that person who might not be as familiar, you know? But I used to take like 2 or 3 pills when I was going out to get a little mushy. That's kind of what we're talking about.
I don't know. Jules took 10 when she was like, I'm gonna
Hit it.
do
I'm gonna
mushrooms and
hit
play
it.
outside.
Hit it.
I don't know. Mushrooms. I don't know what my yeah. I don't know what my
Somebody
next
said that
one.
me walking around in a trench coat and hat selling red pills, it's very like Carmen San Diego vibes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
International drug lord. I just want to be queen of the South.
That would be fun. That's a fun name, fun moniker. It'd be a lot to be the queen of the South.
Oh, for sure.
There's some bad bitches in the South. Like bad bitches.
Yeah, I don't want to be the queen of the South. I want to be like the underground bitch of the South.
The South has so much. Like I just think of like Louisiana, like some voodoo fucking priestess. She's like, I'm the queen of the South. I'm like, yes, ma'am.
I haven't been to New Orleans. I need to go. I want to go. Like, that needs to be a little trip for us.
Yeah, I like New Orleans. I like the idea. It's been a while since I've been there. I feel like I'm in a whole different mindset, and the way I'd look at the town would be so different. What I would enjoy would be entirely different. Yeah, I would like to go to New Orleans again. And I'd like to do the tours of the weird haunted stuff. I'd
Right.
maybe want to dress up like a vampire one day. I'm that kind of weird. If I'm like gonna go out of town, I want to get themey. If I go to Salem, I'm gonna dress like a witch one day.
What would your vampire name be?
Cheney. I have the name. Even people are like, if you were a boy, what would your name be? I'm like, probably Cheney. It's just like it's. I I remember one time staying at my friend's house in the South, and they'd be like, "Oh, is Cheney's gonna stay the night tonight?" And they'd be like, "Is she black?" So I just feel like it's kind of just goes across the board. You don't really
Speaking of
know.
names, I was telling a story this week about how I was telling somebody about Maria, and I was saying, you know, Maria's not my real name, and so many people were like, Maria's not your real name? And I want to be like, are you guys new here?
There's probably a lot of new people here.
But I was saying that my little moniker, I don't know, you just said something about names, and so I wanted to tell this story, but I like my grandmother and my mom have very Italian names, and then mine is not Italian, like whatsoever. But my alternative name was supposed to be Cecilia Renee. So sometimes I call that my alter ego, my evil twin. But I think you told me you were always going to be Cheney, right?
Always.
Always.
I don't even know where. I feel like my mom had it and my dad agreed upon it. So it was just what it was going to be. But I feel like thinking back to when I first met you, I thought your name was Maria, and I was surprised that your real name wasn't Maria.
Maria, Maria.
It was like part of the questions I had set up for you was about this name because of how nerdy I am with the Mar and the Mur and the blah. And then when it wasn't your name, it was like, oh.
What?
Oh, shit.
What? Oh, lordy. Maybe one, but even if I did want to come out, I think I'm in too deep, you know?
You are mymaria777. It just is what it is.
Forever.
Yeah. If you guys have made it this far, you should hit the thumbs up.
Give me a thumbs up right up your ass.
It helps with that algorithm.
Algorithm.
Algrow.
Algrow.
Or it's aggro rhythm. That's what it is. Because most people stare at the stuff that pisses them off the most. A weird thing I'm noticing about myself on camera occasionally, I have a cut right here on my third eye that I don't know where it came from. So it looks like I have this line across here, but it's like an owie.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Love you, girl. I used to have a unibrow back in the day.
I would. If I didn't pluck my eyebrows, I would have a unibrow. It'd be real free to callow up in here. It'd be real free to callow real quick.
Real quick. What are you doing this weekend? Do you have anything new to report to the class since they've heard from you last?
I have a really rad episode I need to get out with Juan. I live from the one-on-one podcast. that I'm kind of all over the place. And I feel like I just need to hang out with my audience and catch up and talk about the world events and vent and stuff. It's been a while, but I've been a little under the weather. And so I've been trying to like have a better sleep schedule. I haven't been drinking alcohol. I haven't been eating sugar.
I know
Um,
we've been trying to take care of ourselves a little bit.
and
Not a
it's
whole
been
lot, but a little
hard.
bit.
It's been hard for me to like not participate mentally in all the things I want to. Like I always research or I have books open or I like even taking part online or people will send me things or digs or I can't even pay attention to too much Britney, like too much of it. Like I am the Britney Spears fucking well. I know everything about this girl. I know every theory about this girl. It's too much Britney stuff. And then someone will send me one video clip of her hand, and now I'm like in deep for an hour and a half, and I'm like, I can't even
Are you
Britney, you
talking about
guys.
the wedding video clip of the hand?
I'm like Madonna's hand. But it's just all so it's that's just one tiny part of everybody focusing
Mm-hmm.
of on her and Sam CGI company and all this weirdness going on. That's just one person in Hollywood that what happened if we started dissecting Nicole Kidman like that? What happens if we started looking at all the Kardashians pages like that? Like how much CGI, how much fake shit, how much stuff is
Oh
just
man,
like
when's the last time we've seen a real picture of like I saw a side by side of Kylie of like she's in France right now for Fashion Week and one of the pictures that she posted versus like the one that the paparazzi took. So many filters. So many.
and somebody just had a baby. Somebody weird that I was like, "What? That person was pregnant?"
Who
Like
dat?
work. I don't know. I wish it was some celebrity. Like I could probably put it in the Google. I could probably look real quick. I'm scared to touch anything on my computer. It'll all just turn off again. I know somebody put
Bloop.
Madonna. Madonna's crazy. Madonna's going on tour. And
I
she has the
know.
human trafficking allegation, which
And she canceled her bioepic with Julia, what's her name? Julia Garner from Ozarks to go back
hmm,
on tour.
hmm, something's amiss with that Madge, that Madonna. Something's heavy amiss because she's on the Corona typewriter at the beginning, and then
Mm-hmm.
she does the weird pasta and fish or whatever she was singing about in her
She just
video.
looks like a fucking alien with all the filler in her face.
There's I think it's her Thanksgiving or Christmas. She's at a dinner party and there's like the chalkboard background, kind of Balenciaga style, but it's like nounce. It's like a weird word, but it means pedophile.
Oh, I hadn't seen that.
It's like Nounce. I don't know. I don't know how to spell it, but
I don't know how. Like my mom wants to go. Like I grew up listening to Madonna with my mom. She wanted to like. She was like, "Do you want to see her?" And I was like, "No, I just don't feel like I can contribute to that right now." Like seeing that old alien face, like writher
with
around
her
the
booty,
stage
with her
with
fake butt.
her fake ass and like it's not really her singing. I'm sure.
Do you have favorite Madonna songs?
Ooh, Vogue, Holiday, Borderline, Like a Prayer. I love like all the old stuff.
I'm a cornball. I like Crazy for You.
Mm-hmm.
I like Take a Bow.
Take a
And
Bow is a
then
great song.
the one weird song of Madonna's that I really like, but it's really just so clever. Like I like the bass drops in it and the weird is Human Nature.
Okay.
And I just think it's such a good song. She has a lot of really that whole music album with music, and I've seen her in concert. I saw her. Here's a weird. I saw Madonna in concert in Detroit on her birthday.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I was so close to her. I remember thinking, because you brought up eyes at the beginning, I remember thinking, I can see the whites of Madonna's eyes. This is so weird.
You
And
could shoot
then,
her in a war.
easy. It would have been an easy shot. That was my chance. Easy shot. Like I wouldn't even have to be good. I could have used a like spraying shotgun and still hit her. But in the like front, like I could look down because I was kind of on like almost the side stage. I could look down and see Rosie O'Donnell in the front row.
Rosie. See, I loved Rosie and Madonna in A League of Their Own. That's like one of my favorite movies of all time. And it's just like, damn, The
Who was in
actor,
it
like
with him?
separating from the art from the actor. I know Tom Hanks as well. I like Tom is like the rumored pedophile of pedophiles, and he's just like in all of these incredible movies that like made up my childhood. And movies are like everything to me, and it just ugh.
Yeah, Tom Hanks is in some. I just watched Joe versus the volcano again. I just can't. It's the he's just permeated so many movies, and so many of the movies have so much symbology in them, like The Burbs, Saving Private Ryan, Money Trap, The Man with One Red Shoe, Bachelor Party. Like there's so many old movies before you even get to the Tom Hanks of Toy Story and beyond. Like
Toy Story, come on.
My Big
Forrest
Fat Greek
Gump,
Wedding.
Sleepless in Seattle. He's not in My Big Fat Greek
He
Wedding.
produced it. Rita Wilson was in love with it,
Oh.
and they met on The Bachelor or
Oh.
Bosom Buddies.
Oh.
Mr. Rogers. If you were,
Mr.
if you even were on the fence about
Castaway.
Mr. Rogers, the second Tom Hanks plays him, you're like,
Oop.
makes sense.
Oops. I fucking loved Castaway though.
I'll watch Castaway wherever till the
Wilson.
end. But Wilson symbology.
Fucking adrenochrome, right?
It's all over everything. It's the red face. It's the peel off red face of the Basquiat art.
Little
Jean
frazzle drip.
Michel. Which back to Madonna. She posts pictures all the time of Jean Michel Basquiat and her because they came up together in New York. So they were both like right when Madonna, before she was Madonna and or just hitting off, and before he was like all Andy Warhol, they were like besties. So she always posts shit on him. And it's just in the art she has in her house of his. But if you look up any of his art, like Ellen, Tom, Cuomo, like they all have his art, and it's all this like that Wilson face.
Interesting.
Madge.
Oh, Madge. I just bought a ticket to see Hootie and the Blowfish. Hootie hoo!
I think I know 3 Hootie and the Blowfish songs.
When I hear Hold My Hand. Is it Hold My Hand?
Hold my hand. I want you to hold my hand. I don't know any
I'd
of
Go
the
Blind is the one I'm thinking of. There's just this line in I'd Go Blind. Shoo. Hold on, I gotta pull it up.
Make me cry, 'cause there's nothing I can do. I ain't looking for a girl like you. It's
Call
like a
me
Florida
my
kid. So.
boo. Pa, pa. I wanna be with you. Hold on, I gotta find this line.
What would be the next? I always try to think of if like somebody gives me a weird song, I always tell them what would be the next in my playlist of the genre. And the next in the genre would be Blues Traveler Hook.
Yes, I fucking love Blues Traveler. I almost bought tickets for them the other day.
That would be what would come next in the Hootie and the Blowfish playlist. It'd be like, suck it in, if you're into dinner and Berlin. Make it a spring move or else you'll win. And then I'd be like, what is this?
Where is this fucking line that I wanted to give you?
Okay, what would come next while you're looking for it? I'm going to think after Blues Traveler in the list of staying with the genre. Hootie. So it's adult contemporary. Do you lean in with look at Sophie B. Hawkins, but not Damn, I Wish I Was Your Lover? No, you could put that in. Sophie B. Hawkins would be the next in the list for adult contemporary VH1. She had some other song too, though. One other song that was a little more upbeat.
It's so much better sung. But like the one part where he's like in Let Her Cry, he's like, I wanted to look for you. Like she basically leaves him and like says she's leaving him, and he's like, I wanted to look for you, but you walked back in and I didn't know what I should do, so I sat back down and had a beer and felt sorry for myself. I don't know. It always just like speaks to me. I have a literal playlist like this. I can tell you what would come next.
You already have this playlist?
For sure. For sure.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
Hootie hoo.
There was a time like I was repulsed by Hootie and the Blowfish.
Repulsed?
Now it's just like whatever. Yeah, it was just like the worst.
Ooh, I would play some Robert Randolph. For sure. Do you know him?
Nope.
I would play some Black Crows.
Okay. That goes right in the list.
I would
I can totally
Spin
feel it.
Doctors. Spin Doctors would be fucking next. Two
Okay.
Princes. That's
Two Princes.
totally on this song. I would
If
play some
you
Sister Hazel. Sister Hazel, Run Around. Or no, I would also play Run Around by Blues Traveler.
Would you go into Oasis, or would that be too far into the kid zone?
No, I love a little Oasis.
Would you put
But
it
then
on
I'd
this
also
list
pull it
though?
back around with I play Low Cracker and Franz Ferdinand and shit like that. And bring it back around to some alt stuff. But yeah, love me some Blues Traveler and love me some Hootie Hoo.
Hootie Hoo.
Even though Hootie Hoo is technically a reference from an Outkast song that references cops. Like when the cops are coming, you yell, Hootie Hoo!
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know.
Oh, I know. I'm just telling you if you're listening, you might not know that.
Yeah, Hootie Hoo. I feel like
Big Boy used to follow the old Maria account, and then Big Boy follows the Oracle account, but I need to like get him back on the new Maria account. And I always slide into his DMs and I'm like, would you come on my podcast with me?
I just like every once in a while on Big Boy's Instagram, it's just his arm on in his car, and he just turns the music up, and he's just driving down the streets of Atlanta and is like whatever kind of a Impala or whatever kind of cool car he has that day. But it just is so chill.
He loves angel numbers. He will like screenshot angel numbers and post them in his stories so much.
That's funny. Angel numbers.
Hootie-hoo. Oh, angel numbers.
Do you think people should be assigning things to their angel numbers? Or
no, I do. Like, I hate it when people are like 111. What does it mean? 777. What does it mean? Please tell me who fucking defined the angel numbers for us. Please tell me what divine That's so silly that there's just like objective definition to like the meaning of a 777 synchronicity. That's silly.
What about
this?
That's
so silly to me.
Like, could an angel number be like every time I see 111, it reminds me of my grandma? Like the same way a cardinal.
Inherently subjective. I'm just like,
that's what I mean. Like assigning it to yourself. Yeah, don't Google it.
No, when you Google something and it's like 222, it means your angels are with you and it means they support the decision you're making now. Who the fuck told you that? Who the fuck told you that?
Dude, because it is 12. So here it's 1222, right? When you said that, I feel like the angels are with us and supporting us right now.
Oh, yeah. I ask for synchronicity sometimes. I ask for confirmation, but I don't think there's any, like, my 222 does not mean what 222 means for you, does not mean what 222 means for some person in China. No. No, no, no.
Back to the singing aloud, I want to like shout out Summer, like, because we have a mutual friend that when spirit talks to her, it's in her head and sometimes through songs. So when you just randomly sang at me the other day, I was like, oh, like that's like spirit talking to you. But it makes me wonder if that's not spirit talking to people all the time. Like, why are you having earworms? Why are you thinking of that song right now? Like, dissect it in your head. Every time you have a song in your head.
Janie, I think of 18 bazillion different things at one time. What do they all mean?
I know. I think it's just interesting. I think we're all little antenna that we're picking up things. And the only way our quantum selves could speak with us is from our own history and our own nostalgia. So music would be the perfect way. And if these frequencies are going on all over, that sometimes I wonder when I'm driving, like I'm just driving down the road and then all of a sudden I'm fucking pissed. And I'm not pissed at anything going on around me. And I drive a little further and I'm not. And I'm like, I wonder if there's like a ray of anger right in this certain spot on the road. Yeah. Or like I'm driving and I get really weepy. Like, why am I sad right now? I'm not sad. Like, I wonder if they're just doing these certain things or putting them out. And then so it's like, sometimes I wonder if I drive through a song. Like, would they just put
about, like, loosh? Like, okay, if you think about like clouds, you don't see any sort of like single particles of a cloud, even though theoretically they exist. But like, what if like loosh could like pool together? You know what I mean? So like what if you literally drove through a pocket of like negative something? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's kind of the Prince idea, where he'd be like, we'd all be hanging out in the neighborhood, and then they'd come over and spray some stuff on us, and then we'd all be fighting.
Right.
And you
Even
almost
like
wonder that.
what I saw something about red 40 the other day that was talking about like the prevalence of red 40 in candy and like children's food, and how it's a like it has a neurological side effect that literally alters your mood in like a very angry, aggressive, like all these characteristic type of ways. And all these people were commenting, being like, I literally feed my kids Doritos or I feed my kids fruit snacks, and I see their mood change. And it's not just the sugar; it's also this like fucking weird preservative food coloring dye shit that's going on in there too. So to think of like you've got the aerial spray that is some sort of heavy metal cocktail, and then you're also ingesting things like red 40 that are literally a mood altering color additive.
I totally believe that. I totally believe that they're doing that to us. And I think with the M&Ms, that is like key. The colors they're at, I'm old enough to remember when they added blue. So, and I
They
remember when all,
voted on it too, remember? Like
and then
everyone voted.
remember when the blue M&M came, all of a sudden we got blue Gatorades and blue Jolly Ranchers and blue everything else. It became this icy blue life, blue Mountain Dew. And it was like, so I almost think M&M, which if you turn those any other direction, it's a 33. And then you, even the rapper M&M, because, you know, he's such an Illuminati. What, that's a whole different story. But the just taking those colors alone, even that brown, that caramelized brown, and then you almost wonder the exact back of the M&M packs, and it's like, here we go, we handed them to you. And everybody talks about these famous families all the time. You hear about the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Carnegies, blah 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 blah. You don't ever hear about Hershey. You don't ever hear about Mars. And those are two huge families that people need to look into because they're attached to way more than just your chocolate. And yeah, I think even Hershey, the amount he had to do with politics and stuff. But History Channel is real big on the men who built America because they want to rewrite all that history and make all these guys look at this heroic guy that just pulled himself up by his bootstraps. But
I don't
yeah, I
know,
think
like
all
it's
those
never
candies.
who they say it is, you know? Like anybody who's actually in charge, I don't think we'll ever know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You just wonder. Or just like, I just think it's the poisons and the things that we're not looking at. That's why it's so perfect if we always just keep paying attention to the facts. And then we're all just eating M&Ms and eating McDonald's. And then why we're all like well aware of M&Ms and McDonald's, we're all like, no, I only buy organic. And you're like, you
Organic
just buy
short
this
span like, and that's
here, I
even like
stamped
such
it.
a like you have to think about a farmer is likely able to classify his like field as organic because he met one test at one point in his tenure. Like I think some of those laws are very like lenient in the sense that like you get tested once every 10 years or something like that, and you just have to make sure that you're like fucking Monsanto is at some sort of threshold. So like I don't know. It's just I don't give any sort of like actual credence, especially if it's still coming from a huge supplier. Like if you're with your local guy, like I don't know. That's the only time that I would truly believe that something might be actually organic. But
Yeah, I
who
think
knows if
local,
that?
local, local. As much as you can get local, that's better than any stamped anything from the grocery.
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever you can get local is probably better. And you can talk to a lot of the farmers, a lot of the people that are producing whatever it is.
Somebody said her, she, like her, and then she. Is that like channeling feminine energy in some way? That's interesting to look
That
at.
is, and I bet if you pull up the Hershey
Ooh,
symbol,
Mars, and Mars is like male.
Mer or Mary, Mer, yeah, well, it's the C as well. So Hershey, like it's yeah, or it could be Mars symbolism, like Mars bar. But one of them has the cross where it almost looks like an antenna, Or is
Mm-hmm.
that Oreo? But
I
yeah,
don't
they're all,
know.
like once like that would be interesting pulling up all the symbols of those candies.
Candy symbolism, food symbolism. Okay. I forgot to bring my charger and I'm at 10%. And my edible has kicked in and I am a little tired.
Sleepy girl.
Sleepy girl is here. And yeah, so I love you. Thanks for hanging out with me.
No
Even
problem. It's
though
fun.
my audio
Impromptu.
sucked again, we are getting rid of StreamYard tomorrow.
Getting rid of StreamYard and practicing the Zoom before.
Mm-hmm. For
We'll have
sure.
a brainstorm session on Sunday
For
and check the
sure.
Zoom.
We will. Okay. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Cheney, where can they find yo ass?
ProjectCheney.com, Cheney underscore in underscore Wonderland on Instagram, and Cheney Project and Project Cheney on Twitter.
This is your girl, mymaria777. You can find me at my website, on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, on Facebook,
Oh, can I
on
interrupt and say my
Telegram.
YouTube? I forgot I'm on
Say
YouTube.
it. You're on
I
YouTube.
keep trying to remember. I'm on YouTube. I only have 2 videos up right now. And then one hanging out with the spiders. And then I will have the video coming up with Juan hopefully this week since I'm feeling better.
Ooh, do it, baby. I am going to hot yoga in the morning.
That's awesome.
Namaste, getting my shit together. I'll say this very briefly before my computer dies. I'm one of those people that I know things exist, but I live in this fucking bubble, you know? And like I know Wim Hof exists. I know that breath exercises exist. I know that it can take you to a level of like DMT shit,
Yes, it
but I've
can.
never really experienced it myself. And like we always do the normal breath work in the beginning of yoga, but last week we did a little bit differently and we were doing this like group repetitive short breathing exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And ooh, I felt it. I was like, oh, I see how, like, I was getting a little weird with my blue light, and I was like,
We were
I
like,
could see. Yeah, I
like
was
hot
getting a.
breaths and then tiger breaths and then fire breath.
Mm-hmm,
I like
mm-hmm.
lion's breath. I think it's where they're like,
Oh, we didn't do that.
oh, I like where
That was
because
maybe
it
like
makes your
OA.
whole yeah. There is all the different kinds of things, and if you are going to get into the Wim Hof breathing, it's next level, and I would lay down on a couch.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's actually, I think, better. It's not one to sit. I mean, you can sit up too when you get good at it, but I think when you're first doing it, because it will make you a different kind of lightheaded. It does release DMT in your body, and so it's not like a lightheaded. It's just so loosey goosey. And so it's
So
like,
loosey
yeah, until you
goosey.
get like really good at experiencing it. But I like breath work,
I know. It's just like, oh,
flow.
shit. This is like, just like, I don't know. We live in our own little bubbles, and sometimes things don't feel like they're real until they actually like penetrate your eggshell.
Flow
So it's just
means
like,
breath.
ooh, hello.
I like it. I
I
like
like it a
weird.
lot. Okay.
I like the weird.
Love you guys. Talk to you soon. I'm not doing anything. I went to dinner tonight. That's why this was late and unplanned, and we had nothing prepared. But you might see us later live tomorrow or Sunday. You never know.
Yeah, it was fun hanging out with you guys.
Thank you.
You
Bye
guys are
bye.
rad too. They're honest with the audio.
I know you're the best. We love you the most.